So there's a ton of FOMO in the AI industry right now. You probably feel like you're really behind because you see all those crazy posts on LinkedIn where people create magical app in companies making tons of money overnight and everyone is using Cloud Code to automate everything in their lives. But the truth is, 99% of people are exactly like you. Everyone is behind. Everyone's busy with life, work, kids, and all we do is see those posts on LinkedIn and feel shit about ourselves. But I'm here to fix that. I'm Jeremy Gedge. I'm a product manager at Meta. I've been there for 4.5 years. And as part of my side gigs within Meta, I'm teaching thousands of colleagues on how to get better with AI, with productivity, and teaching them to code with AI. So I'm starting a series that is going to be super approachable to everyone. We're going to build an app together to help us prompt and create apps in a better way. It's going to be called the Prompt Wizard. It follows a methodology I've been using personally for quite a while now, and every single concept in this video is going to be easy to understand even if you have absolutely zero tech background. So this is a video for everyone, ranging from nurses and lawyers to data scientists and other product managers. So here we go. Why create a prompt wizard, right? You could just go to Lovable or Base44. These are two tools that allows you to create a prototype, to vibe code based on ideas. And yes, you could just send an initial vague idea and get started. But what you will discover very fast, along with many other people, is that it gets very expensive, very, very, very fast. And I've experienced that personally. You start on a project and you change direction midway, and you see the app and you test it and you make changes and you run out of credit, and then you have to pay more and more and more. It gets really, really expensive, and that's where they get you because you're already emotionally invested. You're almost there, but the problem is the almost there lasts a long time when you create an idea or an app, and it costs a lot of money. So we're going to solve that by creating a tool that will allow us to create the perfect prompt, to think through your idea in detail like a real product manager, so that when you actually reach the step where you send your prompt to your tool, to your favorite tool, it will work in one shot. And from there, the iterations, the changes are going to be natural and much faster, and you're going to save a ton of money while learning to think like a product manager and learning prompt engineering. So here we go. Here's what we're going to do. We're here. We're going to plan the project together. Then we're going to create a product brief. Then we're going to prepare the technical setup. I'm going to explain every single term here and why I'm using these tools specifically. The TLDR is that I don't want a project that's going to cost me a lot of money. We're going to use a lot of free tiers. A lot of tools going to look and sound scary, but actually they're really not. And I'm here to explain every micro step. We're going to create the first tool and test the MVP, minimal viable product. Essentially, it's just the first version of our app and see if it actually works and what to improve. From there, we're going to continue planning the next features and how to execute, how to create the plan to make those features happen from your idea to the app. Then I'm going to show you how to improve the coding tool that we're going to use. We're going to use Cloud Code, right? Everyone's talking about Cloud Code, at least at the time of making this video. And I really want to demystify it. It's an amazing tool. It's a bit scary, but it's really, really good. And it's going to allow us to create a project that is very good. And also that is going to be cheap to maintain. And then obviously we're going to keep improving the prompt wizard. So let's get started and plan the project. All right, so as a first step, that's the part where the magician shows that there's no rabbit in the hat. So completely empty document. There's only a title. That's going to be our product brief. Completely empty Gemini session. There's nothing here. And we can get started. So let's start by defining what makes a good prompt for an app. The answer is it's an idea that is both clear to you and to AI. So let's break it down. All right, so here's the components that we want. First, we want a title, okay, or name of the app. Let me zoom in a bit here. There we go. Name of the app. Great. Then, actually, let me make the text a bit bigger. There we go. Then we need the purpose of the app. Why are we making that app? What does it serve? What's the elevator pitch for that app? What's the purpose that it has in its life? Next, what's the look and feel of the app, right? It will define the atmosphere, the style. So we have the look and feel. In other words, what's the design language for your app? Now, you might not have all the answers for that yet, but I'm going to show you how to use AI to get ideas if you don't already have a firm opinion on these. Next, we have the UI elements. What is your app composed of? How does it look when it loads? What do I see? Where's the buttons? Where's the text? Is there a sidebar? So again, you might not know all of these, but you're going to figure it out as you work on your prompts. Great. Next, we're going to have user flows. What happens when the app loads? What happens when the user clicks a button? Essentially, what are the multiple things that a user can or should do to get the purpose of the app? Purpose of goal, purpose of app. Okay. These are the real basics. This is the core of what an app should be, how an app should be described as. So if you already have these mapped, it means you're ready to prompt already, because you already have covered the main elements of it. We have, what is the app? What is it supposed to be doing? Why does it exist? How does it look like? These two. And what can the user do? These are the main ones. We can also have a few more detailed ones. For example, if you have an app that is very heavy on processing images that the user provides, or processing voice, anything that is heavy on the user providing something to get value out of your app, this is the case where we're going to have a sort of a dedicated explanation of user input logic. That's how I like to call it. What should happen when the user provides something to your app? Great. These are the main ones. Awesome. Let me zoom out. Nope, I was already zoomed out. Let's zoom back out. Great. All right. Now I'm ready to create my first blurb. And I'm going to use a tool called SuperWhisper. SuperWhisper very essentially allows me to speak to my microphone and get a really good and accurate transcription of what I'm saying. And that's going to become, this tool or any other tool that achieves the same thing is going to become your best friend in AI coding or AI anything, because the more detailed your prompt is, the better AI is going to be. And my plan right now is going to be to talk through my idea very generally while looking at the diagram right here while using SuperWhisper. I will dump it in my product brief and I see if I need to refine it. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to describe an app called the Prompt Wizard. The Prompt Wizard has for a purpose to help people create better prompts to create their applications using AI coding tools. They will achieve it by providing a fully detailed description of their ideas in a way that both describes the product and its value, but also does that in an optimized way for AI coding agents. It's essentially prompt engineering, because all the fields in the Prompt Wizard will be both answering the purpose of the application as well as being categories that are directly that are easy for AI coding agents to interpret to make the technical decisions required. The first field is going to be the title, which is going to be the name of the app. The second field is going to be a short text or a short sentence about the purpose of the app. What is the elevator pitch of the app? What is the user value from the app? The next one is going to be the look and feel or the design language of the app. And that's where the user is going to describe what is the design language of the app, the colors, the theme, etc. The next one is going to be the UI elements. That's where the user is going to describe what are the multiple elements or the structure of the app. Then we're going to have the user flows. The user flows will cover all the user flows that the user can think of for their app. For example, what happens when the app loads, what happens after a user logs in, what happens when the user uses the main function of the app. For example, the user uploads a picture to edit on the app, which is going to be an AI editing tool. What happens to the picture? What does the interface shows, etc. And then we're going to have an optional field called user input logic, which is going to be relevant for users where relevant for apps where the users of these apps are supposed to upload any kind of file or text or voice. And then we're going to describe what these are supposed to do. All right. Okay. Now I have a big blurb right here that you can see. And it's very blurby. I want to be able to read it myself. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm in Google Doc. You know what, let's try that. I was about to just copy paste to Gemini, which we'll do soon to refine and stress test the idea, but let's use the one here. Modify with a prompt. This is the output of a speech-to-text tool. Please create line breaks where relevant, so I can read it more easily. All right, let's replace it. Cool, so I now have my brief. I'm going to describe an app called Prompt Wizard. Okay, that sounds good. Now, let's validate the idea. I'm going to take it to Gemini. All right, so I'm using Gemini. Here we're going to use thinking. So a quick word on these. Fast is going to answer very quickly. It's good for factual questions or short questions. Thinking and Pro are going to be for exactly questions like that, where I need the AI to take the time to understand what I want, what I provided as an input, and provide a more thorough answer. So I'm going to go with thinking. I'm not sure if everyone has Pro, so I'm going to go with thinking just to show you that anyone can do it, because thinking is available even on the free tiers. So I'm going to paste my prompt, and here's what I'm going to ask from Gemini. So I have the basic here. I'm going to describe an app called the Prompt Wizard. I need your help reviewing the idea. My goal is to create a product brief that I will then use in an AI coding tool to create. Please note, this is only the user level brief with some technical elements. I am not yet thinking about the technical aspects like which tech stack to use. Tech stack is the term to describe which technical part of the system we're going to be using to build it. I won't go into detail now. We're going to cover it in the next video. But usually a product brief includes that. That's why I'm telling Gemini, hey, right now, this is just a rough idea. Think about that and tell me if I'm missing anything. All right, what's missing? The the persona. Yeah, I don't agree with that and I'm a product manager. In this case, the persona is not going to change much. You need to know who you're building it for, and you already described it. If you, if you build a prompt wizard, or if you're using the prompt wizard, you're going to describe the purpose of the app, what are the user flows. It should already be baked in there. Data persistence. Does the app need to remember the user? That is up to you to define. It could be a user flow. Usually we're going to start with an MVP without persistence, meaning if a user uploads data or has an interaction with your app, do we want the app to persist it? It will depend on you, depend on your experience. Usually when we want to persist data, we are going to use a slightly more elaborate set of tools, which we will cover. The output format, how should the wizard deliver the final prompt? Oh, great catch. I forgot something really important. So let's go back to my prompt. So I'm not going to go over the refined prompt because it's going to already implement all of it, and I don't agree with all of that. Let's add a few elements. As the user fills the fields, the bottom section of the prompt wizard is going to have a section called generated prompt. The generated prompt is going to be the aggregation of all the input fields that the user has created and filled. For example, if the title of the application is Flappy Bird Generator, then the generated prompt will have a section where the text will be application name followed by Flappy Bird Generator, and so on for all the fields, after which there will be a copy button. Whenever the copy button is pressed, the prompt is going to be copied to the clipboard so that the user can paste it in their AI coding tool of choice. And there's also going to be a gamification aspect that's going to help users go through the form with a bit more fun. Essentially create mini dopamine hits so that they're motivated to continue building their prompt. And here's how we're gonna do it. There will be a gamification module in the form of a leveling up system. There's gonna be 10 levels, and as users fill their prompts, they're gonna gain XP, experience points. And as they go and fill each field with more data, and they go over each field in the prompt wizard, they will level up, with the top level being for an extremely elaborate prompt created. Awesome. Now, I don't know if you're noticing, but I'm following the same format that I'm creating for myself. I already defined the name of the app. I defined the purpose of the app. We're going to talk about the look and feel in a second. I just defined the UI elements. We have all the fields and the buttons. I'm defining the user flows. People are filling, there's the gamification, and when they press a copy button, the prompt is going to be pasted. There's no input logic here except for the actual core functionality, which is inputting text into the prompt wizard, so I'm not going to cover that. Now let's add the look and feel. The look and feel and design language of the application is going to be a synthwave retro theme with slight neon, but not too intrusive. It should invoke nostalgic feels for people who have played in arcades and like video games, but it still should be subtle enough that it's not bothering people who are not super into retro synthwave and gaming. Great. That's a general theme with stuff I create. That's my approach. All right. I think we have our prompt. Now let's go back to Gemini and ask again. Here's a revised version of the prompt. Please review it again. All right. And by the way, I always recommend expanding the thinking. That's one of the best schools in AI. Just see how the AI thinks. All right. Much more robust. Let's see, what are we missing? Peer review. Let's have a look. No, I don't want to generate. We'll figure that out later on. Awesome. So we have our product brief. That is really good news. The next part is going to be to actually prepare the technical setup. And for that, we'll see you in the next video. See you.